Welcome to How We Did It, a podcast dedicated to dentists teaching dentists. This podcast is powered by eAssist Dental Solutions, and all of the guests are eAssist top practice providers that share their experiences, best practices, and what set them apart in their communities. So, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to host today's Top Practice podcast. Today, we have an office administrator with us today from Dripping Springs Family Dentistry, Miss Sunny. I'm so happy to have you with us today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm humbled and excited to just, we just have a small little practice in the Texas Hill Country, and so it's humbling and an honor to have received this top practice award out of 1,900 practices that you guys have. So
yeah,
we're excited to be here. So
absolutely. And you were the recipient, or your practice was the recipient of the August 2021 Top Practice award. So that's really exciting. And I know eAssist really likes to just acknowledge those practices that really set the bar, and they're involved in their communities and they just set that industry standard for what a practice should be,
Yeah.
So I want to kind of jump in with our list of questions here. And first one, I really just like to let our listeners get a feel for yourself and your involvement in the practice. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I've been in practice with Dr. Smith going on 15 years this year. We moved out to the Hill Country from Houston, Texas, to kind of get away from the hustle and bustle, and went and dropped my resume off at this cute little dental office in town because I didn't really want to commute into the city, into Austin. It was a pretty good hike. Lo and behold, Dr. Smith called me back, and the rest is history. So Dr. Smith and I hit it off really well, and over the years have built a really strong, trusting relationship. So it's been wonderful working for him. He's a really good guy. So.
And had you known 15 years later, that would be the best decision, right?
I know. So true.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Awesome. Well, and what to you, being in the dental field, being a patient, just as we all are, what does a top practice mean to you? So in the way of patient care on both ends. So being a patient, being a practice administrator.
First and foremost, I have to say that accomplishing, an award like this, you have to have a solid doctor and a great team. And I have to say, I'm honored to work alongside some of the best people in our dental profession. The girls that I work with are compassionate. They have a heart for what they do. They're very dedicated. And I just want to acknowledge that. Like, that is first and foremost. Being a top practice, you need that strong team and a strong doctor. But I believe, it consists of a team that believes in the mission and that share the same core values that the office has. So, I think that we have a shared vision of where our team is going and a greater purpose of why we're going there, and the core values to back that up. That creates a top performing team. It's built on that, on our mission and our values. So, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, resilience, and good leadership and heart from everyone. But I think that, to me, that's what a top practice is.
Yeah, 100%. And, I think that anyone that comes into the practice can feel the dynamic of the team. So when you have that buy-in and your team is a part of the culture and they're implementing that with everything they do, I think that really does set you aside. I know I can personally say I've walked into offices where you can feel the tension.
Oh
Not
yeah,
everyone's synced. And it's not even just dental offices, medical offices, or just general retail businesses. It's a lot. It sets the tone and the dynamic for everyone.
absolutely. It is so important. We've heard several patients say, man, you guys work so well together. It's like you guys just in sync. You're working together and things are just flowing well. And it's true. Um, when you have your systems in place and you have a good solid team and doctor, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it makes it easy to get up and go to work during the day, huh?
Yes, it does. It
That's
does.
that's pretty awesome. That's pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, eAssist is kind of the bridge of bringing the office into this top practice award, and kind of bringing that to light and highlighting the office. So just asking, as far as implementing eAssist, how has that helped, do you think, take you to a level of becoming that top practice?
I think for the biggest thing that I have seen, and it's huge in dentistry, it's huge because it's so relational. Dentistry is so relational, and you have to have time. You have to have time to be able to be relational with your patients. So, eAssist has come in and taken off all the, busyness of the EOBs and posting payments and calling insurance companies and writing appeals and following up. We actually up front have time to sit and connect with our patients. And I think that communication and connection is one of the biggest parts of having a really great team too, in addition to, sharing your vision and your mission and your values. Dentistry is really, really, it's really important in dentistry to have a connection with your patients and your team. And having eAssist take off all of those mundane things gives me the opportunity to be able to connect with patients. Also, just being able to spend more time and get to know patients on a deeper level just really has made all the difference in the world. When you connect with someone, you build that trust. And so it was very difficult before eAssist to be able to sit down with somebody for 30, 45 minutes and discuss a treatment plan. Yeah. That was unheard of. Like I didn't have 30 or 45 minutes. It was constant on the phone, planes back and forth. It's just so it's been awesome to have our girls there helping on the back end so we can as a team spend more time with patients. So that I think that's been the biggest part and then also being able to communicate with my team. I feel like before eAssist, I didn't have time to sit and look how the systems were playing out with every department. Now I have time to help our team to analyze different things, to give them some feedback and vice versa. Before I would hear from my team, well, you're just always so busy. I didn't want to bother you, and same with patients. I think they felt like, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here, oh, bye, see you later. It was just super, super bogged down by those unimportant things. Now we have time to communicate and connect with, people. And that's really been the biggest thing, I think, for us. I think most dental practices, they communicate, but the great ones, they also connect with patients and each other on a deeper level. You get down to understanding why it is a patient doesn't want to do it. It could be fear, money, whatever the case. But before I didn't have time. I didn't have time to listen to their stories. I didn't have time for that. So,
well, and that's huge. I mean, just even having the time to sit chairside next to someone in a treatment plan, that 30 minutes that you used to spend on the insurance company, could be the buy-in and just listening to the scary stories that maybe their parents had that they don't want to go through, or that's huge. That's not something that's been touched on before on some of our podcasts, but I think that's one of the biggest returns, is just being able to not only sit back and analyze from an operational perspective, right? What dentist would not want someone to be able to do that for their practice, but then tenfold, you're getting treatment plan acceptance because you're sitting down and it may not be immediate, but they're going to know the way that they left the practice feeling. They listened to me. They heard me. Exactly.
And looking them in the eye and not worried about, somebody's on the phone, and it's the distraction after distraction. So that is huge. And you're right. Case acceptance has gone up quite a bit.
Has it? That's wonderful.
Yeah. It's been, I think that's the biggest part with eAssist. Not only that, I love the dynamics with having, Jerry, Darby, and Danielle on the back end, and just always there. Like if I have a question, they're there. They know what's happening. The communication is great. And I love them like they're part of our team. So
that's one of the things that I love to see is how our teams integrate. I mean, I've seen where they go to Christmas parties and they know, the life of the office staff. And it's really wonderful because we are an extension to the team. We can be as involved or as limited involved as the office wants. But it's nice to have that extension of, we're not all stressed out at each other's throats because we've got this, that, and the other to do. But we also now have a refreshing team that helps us take care of that. So that's really nice. That gives everyone peace of mind, right? Who doesn't want to go happy at the end of the day?
Absolutely.
That's so wonderful. Well, we're going to take a quick break from our sponsor, and then we'll be right back.
All right. Sounds good.
This podcast is sponsored by eAssist Dental Solutions. eAssist helps dentists collect 100% of what dentists are owed by insurance companies. Their dental billing experts work with dentists and their teams to ensure the claim submission process is smooth and that dentists and their staff can focus on patient care. If you or someone you know is in need of assistance with the dental billing process, call 1-844-eAssist or visit dentalbilling.com to find out more. So welcome back, everyone. Again, we are hosting the Top Practice podcast with our winning office, Dripping Springs Family Dentistry, Dr. Rob Smith, and we are lucky enough to have his practice administrator, Sunny, with us. So we're just going to jump back into the last question. I have really enjoyed talking with you and just getting that fresh, administrator team member versus a provider's perspective, because there is just different levels of responsibilities and overhead things that we're looking at. So I really just appreciate your feedback and perspective on what a top practice is to the team members and how it's different. One of the last questions I wanted to ask for any of our listeners, and typically I'll ask as a provider what a top practice means to you, but I think we have a lot of office team members that listen to our calls as well, or other providers that may want to hear the perspective from a team member, what a top practice is. So I'm going to flip that over to you and just ask, what your perspective on what a top practice is. And for anyone listening, what kind of nuggets they could take away from how you've made your practice that way.
Great. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I think the biggest part is connection and communication. And I'll share this story because I know if eAssist wasn't helping and on the back end, I may have missed this awesome opportunity. Just recently, I had an 80-year-old patient come in I hadn't seen in a year because of COVID. She's very nervous to come in. She comes in and I'm a hugger. I hug all the time. So I would go up and I hug her and she starts to cry. And she's like, nobody's hugged me in like over a year, and she's crying and I'm crying, and it was just awesome to be able to connect on a deeper level with her and just hug her, and that physical touch and how it's so important to people. We forget about that sometimes. So I think the connection with people makes all the difference in the world. And when we're in this, in dentistry, and there's 15 dentists all in your area within a 5-mile radius, people are going to remember how they felt when they were there, the connection that they had with people. And luckily we had eAssist to, help, because I know before eAssist, I would have probably been in the back office entering payments, calling on EOBs, or doing some sort of appeals. So I think the biggest nugget, I would say, coming from, the management or the leadership part of the office, is just being able to connect on a deeper level with patients and our team. And, whenever I think of a top practice, I think of culture, and I think of building the culture and keeping that culture that we have with our mission and vision. And I feel like those who care will build great things that others care about too. And also, just, during these trying times, just give people a lot of grace, show respect, and care about the people that you work with and the patients that you serve. I think that's the biggest thing, and it'll set you apart from a lot of other practices. So, and stay humble and hustle hard.
I think those are really great pieces of advice. I don't know that I can say much more to seal that up. I just think that any office manager, team member that's looking for a change, that needs to see a change, you've given them some really great pieces of advice. And it is, you're fueling the long-term patients, because that woman that you made her day, I'm sure her year, after what we've all been through, recently.
Oh, she made mine too.
Right? Yeah. And then that's where the referrals come back, and go see this office. That was like a second home to me, That's really wonderful and powerful. Again, I just thank you. It has been so wonderful talking with you today. You definitely touched my heart with some of your stories. I'm so happy that eAssist has been able to implement some of that support and just allow you to get back to that connection.
We love eAssist.
Well, you have a great rest of your Friday, and we will talk again soon.
All right. Bye.
To learn more about eAssist top practices, visit www.dentalbilling.com and make sure to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode.